Sacrifice that most can't comprehend. If it means you keep your freedom, do it all again. I still can't get the evil that I seen out of my head. I still wrestle with those demons, won't let me forget. I see the bomb, hear the screams, can't find a way out of the dreams that haunt my mind. And I'm home, but it ain't over. Yes, such is the day. Life of a soldier.
You just listening to the WeP3 Radio with the late James Kazan with Day in the Life of a Soldier. You're missed, James.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Trucker.
Doctors, roll out. You're watching or listening to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. We the people, the People's Patriot Project.
Looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and ideas, or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we are the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be a part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. Here's the WeP3 team bringing you today's best heroes hits in the boots on the ground organizations that are saving lives. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Trucker.
Hey, Andrea Eichmann here with the People's Patriot Project. We are here. It is Sunday night, 15th of September, and we are here with you every Sunday at 1800 p.m. Central Time. We bring you our show called We Got Your 6 at 6, and every week we bring you a guest. Many times we bring an artist, and then we share all the good and sometimes not so good things that are happening in our world. This week we've got a guest by the name of Deke Letson, and he's going to bring us information about Veterans Exploration Therapy. This is a 501c3 that is empowering veterans, service members, and families to explore the wilderness and therapeutic pathways through outdoor recreation. And I think there's just been some fun, super great events. So there's going to be a lot to talk about. Sponsors for tonight's episode include Catch 22 with Derek Iozio, Operation Texas Strong, the Boho Hobos Hideaway, that is an Airbnb in Texas, by the way, with Lauren Iozio and our very own Kimmer Gwinner. She'll be sharing some words later. Brian Kenzer is out there. He's with us. He supports VP3 with his business, Smart Living Today. This is an avenue to help support the People's Patriot Project monetarily a little bit, but it also is more importantly all about American-made products, American-made employees, and shopping on an online trustworthy place. So let's also thank the New Brighton Lions Club. A couple weeks ago, they sent a check to Reads Across America and the People's Patriot Project from the family of Glenn Pletcher in honor of him. He just passed away. He is an owner of Pletcher's Greenhouse. And they sent that over to sponsor wreaths at Fort Snelling. So thank you very much to the family and the New Brighton Lions Club. Every week you can hear us on Wreaths Across America. If you missed last week's show, you can catch it tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, so 10 p.m. Central Time. You just go to Wreaths Across America Radio.org and you look for the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. They're also on iHeart, Odyssey, and then the TuneIn app. Just search the word wreath. Thank you very much to our sponsors, our guests, and our viewers. Before we do start this week's show, we ask that you take off your hats, stand if you can, cover your hearts, and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Flag of the United States of
And to the
America.
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's not how it's supposed to be set up. You won't see it on the podcast. You'll see it on the show. We gotta get this guy front and center up there and put all the pretty ones on top, and there we go. Boom, here we go. It is September 15th, and you are here with the People's Patriot Project. We, the people, the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. And we come here, Andrew's already said this, we come here every week, but there's a piece that I want to make sure that there's an understanding. By no sense, by no means, by no place, by no position, by no thought, and sometimes even we don't get it right, do me and or my team know everything. We don't. We know what has worked for some of us. We know what has worked for some. We are learning every time we do a show, every time we put the mission out there, every time someone comes and shares their mission, their passion, their story, is an opportunity for us to learn. And we are going to continue to create those opportunities to learn, to grow. That is one of our battle cries. We changed it a while ago with our good friends with Contagion Effect out in California. One night we were sitting around goofing around and we were talking about, let's go and get going. Remind me back of the Mr. I believe it was Rayburn. I might get the name wrong. One of the passengers of the Philadelphia plane crashed for 9/11. He was famously known, and he's buried at Fort Snelling, oddly enough. And I might be getting his name wrong, which is terrible because he's a guy that kept it from flying into buildings. He's one of the ones that got it to land in Philadelphia. So should probably do a better job of remembering names. But yep.
Thomas Burnett.
Thomas Burnett. Thank you, Mr. Thomas Burnett. And that's weird. Historical. It's close to now. It is that piece, and but we do a battle cry of "Let's Grow," in the fact that each and every day we are hoping the version of us today is better than the version of us yesterday. And so, and here's the other side that we are completely open with. And if there is something that you see and or hear that doesn't quite jive or work in your thought pattern, reach out to us. Again, maybe there's something that we're missing. Maybe there's something that we can, like you say, grow from. We're not. I'm just going to put it out there. We're not perfect. And so, with that said, let's get this thing going. Jonathan, what do you got in the news, brother?
Yeah. Well, news to me is Mark said I wasn't perfect. And that's
What?
I'm just now hearing this. This is new, brand new. I'm just kidding. My wife says it all the time. So on to the actual news. September is National Service Dog Month. It takes place to show appreciation for our four-legged friends who play a huge role in the lives of humans. Service dogs are trained to take care of human suffering from ailments, disabilities, and mental health issues. The sole purpose of their life becomes to aid their human companion and make their lives easier. As of today, there are approximately 500,000 registered service dogs in the U.S. September is also Suicide Prevention Month. In recent years, society has become more open and receptive to discussions and conversations on suicide. However, there is still a stigma surrounding it. And with suicide rates increasing, it still means that the right help is not reaching people on time. It's one of the fastest growing epidemics around the world, with approximately 44,000 people in the U.S. alone dying by suicide each year. Suicidal thoughts can plague anyone, regardless of age, gender, or social status. Commonly linked to depression, there is no foolproof indicator of suicidal tendencies. Many people suffering from depression or suicidal thoughts cover them up quite well. It is the responsibility of each and every one of us to be there for each other, our friends, and our families. If the suicide rate is ever going to fall, then we should all educate ourselves on suicide prevention practices. This month, there are a lot of opportunities to learn more about suicide prevention from American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and many other organizations that deal with suicide prevention, offering classes in the communities. Should be able to find one somewhere close to you. If the suicide rate is ever going to fall, I already read that part, I'm sorry. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S., and there are around 1.4 million suicide attempts in the U.S. in 2019. September 17th is Constitution Day, the guiding force behind the most resilient democratic government ever is celebrated on Constitution Day. A few interesting facts about the Constitution. Some of our most influential founding fathers never actually got the chance to sign it. Thomas Jefferson was away acting as an ambassador to France at the time. The word Pennsylvania is spelled wrong at the top. It only has one N. Specifics on who has the right to vote were never laid out in the Constitution. And of 11,600 proposed amendments, only 27 have ever been ratified, making the chance of passing an amendment to the Constitution about 0.23%. Ben Franklin at the time of the signing was aging and needed to be carried to and from the convention meetings due to his poor health, and he even needed assistance signing the document. September 18th is United States Air Force Day. Air Force Day was originally introduced by President Harry Truman on August 1st, 1947, to commemorate the 40-year anniversary of the U.S. Signal Corps Aeronautical Division. However, the National Security Act of 1947 would establish several organizations, including the CIA and the United States Air Force, as a separate branch of the armed forces. The Air Force has an estimated 13,209 aircraft that is disposable, making it the largest and most advanced Air Force on the planet. In fact, it's larger than the next Air Force by over 3 times. 2 former presidents have gone through the Air Force, President Ronald Reagan and President George W. Bush. September 20th is National POW MIA Recognition Day. This is observed on the 3rd Friday of each September to recommit to the families of the over 80,000 veterans that were captured or still missing from the wars that the United States has participated in. It was first observed in 1979 after Congress and President Jimmy Carter passed a resolution to make it official, following the demands of the families of 2,500 Vietnam War POW MIAs who asked for accountability in finding their loved ones. The POW MIA flag itself was designed by Mary Hoff years before the Day of Remembrance became official. She was the wife of a missing veteran. Take this time this year to honor those who were captured in war times and those who have never made it home from war. As the phrase on the POW MIA flag says, "You are not forgotten." And that is it for the news.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. And we are so glad Jonathan wasn't originally planning on being with us. He had more important stuff to do. Just so you guys, and he's not the one crying it out there and hasn't and has been here for everything that we've needed him to, but him and his family and many others had just recently were through the events of the most recent hurricane down in Louisiana. We're just glad you're safe. And again, if there's anything your community needs from any of us, please let us know.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I would also like to just do a quick shout out to Mr. First Sergeant David Stone. Today he made an announcement that he is retiring, has a chance of retiring after 20 years in uniform. And so we appreciate him. We've had him on here as a musician. I'm sure we'll have him on again, but I just want to put out a congratulations to him and his family for thank you for your service, and thank you for strapping the boots on, man. That's and he continues the mission even today. We've got a whole slew of people that have checked in with us tonight. We got Jeremy Daniels, Amanda Lavera. We got Brian. I saw he was in here. Brian Kenzor. Andrea brought him up earlier. Dylan Petrie, part of the WP3 team down in Louisiana as well. The list goes on and on. Frank the Myth, good to see you, brother. Thanks for showing up and being part of the show. And what a great, amazing team of people that we got out there trying to make a difference. And check this out. We got new family in the house. We got this Deke guy. Where's the name Deke come from, brother?
Actually, Deke Slayton, the astronaut on one of the Apollo missions, apparently. His name was Donald Slayton, but his nickname was Deke, so my parents named me after him. So
are you Donald or are you Deke?
No, Deke. Everybody thinks it's short for like Deacon or something like that. Or, but yeah, I've never met another Deke. I get people running into me saying, "Oh, I used to know this dog named Deke, and he was rad," and I don't know what to say back to that.
Isn't that one of the worst things that can ever happen when someone comes into your life and you have a child or yourself in this matter, and oh yeah, my dog. I named my dog after. And I'm just like, come on, people, have some witness.
Think about
Yeah.
people with their dogs, though. It's kind of a compliment because they love their dogs live better than some people. I know. So it's maybe
I
not
get
all.
to live. I get to live with the lifelong joke of, what does a hair lip dog say? And they go Mark, 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 and that's the joke I've got to live my entire life. So no one's naming their dog Mark. I know that,
That's
which is
a
good.
challenge.
It's good for
Challenge.
me.
Challenge accepted.
I love this comic from Jeremy. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to point that out. I love this comment from Jeremy. The statistic on veteran suicide.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
feel like it's a challenge, 100%.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And Brian's right after that. It's unsatisfactory. We need to.
Deke, you're part of the mission. You're continuing the mission.
Yes, sir. Doing my best.
Share who you are, where you're from, your service connection, and what your mission is.
Absolutely. Excuse me. So my name is Deke Letson. As you guys know, I'm a Army veteran. I spent 10 years in from late 2003 to 2012. I did 2 deployments to Iraq in 2006, and then I went right back October 2007 to August of 08. And honestly, just I'm from Glenwood Springs, Colorado. I'm sorry, I'm probably going to forget half of your questions that you asked there. And we're operating out of Denver, Colorado. That's where I live now. But when I got home from Iraq in 2008, I just started drinking. A lot of us learned how to drink in the military, and it was started because it was like hell. We got home from Iraq, like we're all partying. And everything like that. And shortly after, it didn't take too long to realize that like it's Tuesday and I'm getting blackout drunk every night to fall asleep. And 2012, I just kept drinking, and I didn't have honestly, I didn't have the balls to just admit that I had a problem. I heard that little voice in the back of my head saying, hey, maybe you're doing something wrong, but, maybe you got a problem, but, nobody wants to admit that they have a problem, especially like when it comes to alcohol or substance abuse or anything like that. And, so 2012, I got into a fight at a bar and got in trouble with the law. 2014, I got a divorce. Had a couple little kids at the time. I've got 3 kids total now. My youngest had just been born when I got divorced, and there's nobody to blame but me for it. I did everything the wrong way, and just continued to drink my sorrows away. And a few things happened to me. As I kept going, like I just kept, I kept spiraling down. And, one thing that I can see now is I pushed everybody out of my life because I was an asshole. I was a jerk, to everybody. I had issues with my attitude and all kinds of things. And so 2017, I was running the security program for the federal police here in Denver, and one of our employees ended up murdering his spouse, and just really tragic event, and just out of the blue. And then in 2018, in February of 2018, I went to a wedding in Panama, and I didn't know that, once again, like I knew that I drank too much, but I didn't know that there was anything going on like PTSD wise. Back then, because I was an idiot and I didn't know any better, I thought people used it as a crutch. I thought people used it to up their VA benefits or, whatever, just being an ignorant person. I went to that wedding in Panama, and where we were at, they burn all their trash. And so there were big billows of smoke coming up throughout the city. And it was over Valentine's Day too. And so they were celebrating it with like Black Cat fireworks. So it wasn't like big fireworks going up in the sky that you could see. But yeah, there's big billows of smoke coming up and there's pop, 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 pop going on. And I lost it. It's kind of hard to explain just because, well, I shouldn't say it's hard to explain, but like while everybody else there was having a good time and partying in this really immaculate house that had a swimming pool in the living room and it was awesome. I was literally out like patrolling the perimeter of the house that we were at. Just, I thought something bad was going to happen. And, well, actually, all kinds of crazy things were going on. And, I finally put two and two together while I was down there. And I realized that the only time I had ever felt fear like this was, like when somebody was shooting at us in Iraq or, somebody was trying to kill us. And that was the only time I had ever felt fear like that in my life. So I came back so actually I told the group that we were with, just kind of, I was on a small PSD team for my second deployment. And, it was an 8-man team and my brothers, hell, you guys know how it is. They know everything about you, even like your deepest, darkest secrets or most embarrassing things about you. And so I figured I'd just tell the group like, hey, I think something's going on with me. The only thing I could put two and two together with was that I was having some sort of flashback or something like that. And it's funny that you, in your intro, you were talking about PTSD and stigma and stuff like regarding Suicide Prevention Month, because I told that we were with a group of about 14 or 15 people, and they were all the beautiful people that you see like partying downtown and everything like that. Not normally the typical people that I hang out with. They were my girlfriend's friends at the time. But I just said, hey, like something weird is going on inside of me. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. And I said, I think it's flashbacks, like if I were to put anything on it, that's what I think it is. And they lost it. Just that whole stigma. They immediately made me call the suicide prevention hotline, even though I wasn't suicidal at the time. And then I personally found out that, I can only speak from my experience, but I found out that it made things so much worse. Like I wasn't suicidal, but the guy on the other end of the line was absolutely worthless. And, so like as things are progressing, like things are exacerbating so while I called the suicide prevention hotline, all the people that we were staying with literally packed their bags and they left. They left me to do whatever they thought I was going to do in that place down in Panama. So we had a couple days left there. So we just my girlfriend at the time, she was the one person that stayed with me. She was the one person that made sure that I didn't do anything stupid. So we flew out a couple days later. We were hoping that just being back in the States would, calm me down and everything like that. And that wasn't the case whatsoever. I was home for like 3 hours. Then we went to the VA emergency room because I was still just absolutely losing it. And, and this is kind of like where I started to realize like how worthless the VA can be. I don't know, maybe that's a bad way to put it.
You're good.
My experience was not good whatsoever. They gave me, they pretty much just gave me enough prescription medication to get me through this was like on a Friday night to get me to Monday where I could go try to see mental health. And then, like as I'm still losing it and everything like that, I made it to mental health on Monday. And, the first thing I try to tell them what's going on at the desk. I'd never done anything at the VA before. I'd never put in a claim or anything like that. I didn't know anything was wrong with me before I took this trip, other than I knew I drank too much, but whatever. I think a lot of us do that. Yeah, so mental health was absolutely worthless. They wouldn't see me because I didn't have a claim put in with the VA. They literally told me no, and I actually lost it in the, I lost it on them in the lobby because I didn't have personal insurance. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, I didn't know what the hell to do. And so actually one of the customers, one of the patients at the VA grabs me and says, hey, come over here, at least go to primary care. They'll see you, and sure enough, somebody canceled an appointment. And so one of the primary care doctors ended up seeing me. And she went through her list of her checklist of everything. And she got to PTSD and, just asked me how's it going with PTSD. And I just started bawling I just started crying. That was one of the things that was going on at home too. Like I was a 36-year-old man at the time, and I was crying like a little girl. I was all in the fetal position, and I couldn't get off the couch. So I tried to get into the, it was hard enough to get into the VA to begin with. And Rebecca Almeida, I'll never forget that lady for the rest of my life, because she asked that question about PTSD, and I just started crying. And her nurse came and knocked on the door every 30 minutes when her next appointment was there, and she just said, cancel it. Just cancel it. And she did that till the end of the day, until we literally had to go home. And, but it's like, fuck, that's, sometimes that's what you need, you just need that person to listen. We had already been, whatever. But so, as we were trying to, just get me some help or whatever. So that lady right there, she made an appointment with me once a week and just made sure that I wasn't doing anything stupid until I could finally get into mental health. But then once I got into mental health, it took me 8 months to walk through the door of mental health for the VA, 8 months. And like the whole time, it was just like, no shit, veterans are blowing their brains out. Like, no freaking kidding. And so then once I did get into the door of mental health, they gave me some therapist that was just out of college, had a different color hair every time that I went in, and I just didn't relate with this person, and then we had to do a safety plan for the next 10 weeks, I'm still having like active flashbacks going on. And then we had to work on a safety plan. And then finally, after literally 10 weeks of this, I finally lost it on her again. And I was like, when the F are we going to do something, And so finally, we actually start doing something. We sit down and we start doing something. And it took about 5 minutes into that conversation to realize that she was on level 3 as a therapist, and I was on level freaking 77 as a veteran, and, just losing it. So that's going on. February 2018. And if I'm just rambling, like, please stop me at any moment. I promise this will come full, and
You're good.
We'll get to where we're at. But February 2018, I got a DUI, and February 6th, it was Super Bowl Sunday. And it was actually the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I lost my job. I had been going through a divorce, and I think a lot of us have gone through a divorce, and especially when there's kids involved, like, there's absolutely nothing good with that. And so, I lost my job. I literally hit rock bottom. And I was that veteran that was about to blow my brains out. There was just so much going on, and it just seemed like I was in such a hole that I couldn't dig out of, and everything like that. I didn't have anything. The only thing I had was my GI Bill that I had never used. I actually dropped out of high school when I was a kid because I was an idiot. Just dumb decisions when we're young. So college was the last thing on my mind, but the GI Bill was literally the only thing I had. And so I walked into Red Rocks Community College in Denver, and thought they were going to make me do something horrible, like become an accountant or something like that. no offense to you accountants out there, but that's just not my jam. And they said, well, what do you want to do for a living? Or excuse me, what do you like to do? And I said, well, I love the outdoors. And they said, well, you want to be an outdoor guide? And I was like, yeah, sounds pretty awesome. And they're like, well, what do you know about wilderness therapy? You ever heard about that before? And I was like, no, never. I'm today years old when I'm hearing about that. And so I signed up for both programs by the end of the day. That was in the spring of or summer of 2020. And so, I'm, grown ass man trying to navigate college and all the, all the struggles that us veterans have going back to school and everything like that. And I was going through therapy. I had a few issues at school, I actually had 6 issues. I had to talk to 6 different deans, and I think that I set the record at the school for talking to most deans in my time. At least I want that record. I don't know if they keep track of that. But so I'm telling my therapist about some of the issues that I'm going through. She was like, have you ever been treated for a TBI before? I was like, no, not at all. And she was like, but you've had one. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I had some blasts go off next to me in Iraq, and not to mention just fighting and getting drunk and kicking each other and down the stairs and wall lockers, like, the stupid shit we do in the military. And she was like, she gave me the phone number to the Marcus Institute for Brain Health at the University of Colorado Anschutz in Denver. And she said, call these people. And I did. And they did their tests on me, and they found out that there were so many things that were just absolutely eye-opening that they found out. They found out that the left side of my brain was no longer communicating with the right side. They were like, hey, when you walk down a hallway, do you run into the wall like you're drunk? And I'm like, yeah, but I haven't had a drink since 2018. And they're like, that's because your vestibular got jacked up in your ear. And, your balance is 1.5 feet to the left and rear. And it's like, okay, that makes, but it's like, okay, cool. Thanks for telling me that. Like, what do you do? But they sent me through a 21-day intensive outpatient program where they taught us how to relive our lives with these injuries. They sent us through physical therapy every day. They can't fix the broken neurotransmitters that were in my brain, but they can create new ones, which is absolutely life-changing. And, there were so many things that, like, as a veteran, they just taught me, like, you have to slow down. You can't go 110 miles an hour every day. You've got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else. There's so many, so many of us veterans are incredibly giving people, and we try to take care of everybody else around us. But, sometimes we got to be a little bit selfish and take care of us so that we can take care of others. There were so many things that were just absolutely eye-opening. And like I said, they can't fix the broken neurotransmitters, but they're literally creating new ones. They're teaching us about yoga, Tai Chi, they're art therapy was a big thing that they did, even though, most of us think we don't have an artistic bone in our body. And it's like, well, yeah, because we don't practice, we don't try, you don't just start painting Picassos tomorrow. But so yeah, they essentially rewired our brains. They essentially taught us how to relive our lives with these injuries. And this was over Christmas break while I was still in school. And actually all my classes canceled right while I was at the Marcus Institute. And I was, all my classes canceled right before I was supposed to go back. And I had no interest in taking this small business entrepreneurship class for the outdoor industry. But it was literally the only thing I could take, or it was figure out something to do for the rest of the semester. So I was like, well, I'll just suck it up and do it. And one of the first things that they made us do is make a fake business. And so I made Veterans Exploration Therapy. And yeah, it wasn't long after I started getting pulled aside by the instructors saying, like, dude, you need to do this. Like, you absolutely need to do this. And so just one by one, I started, of course, I made every excuse in the book for why I can't. I went and got a job. I went and, I graduated school. I, got a job. I tried to just go be an outdoor guide, like was the original plan. And I actually used to think that those people that said that the universe told them to do something was batshit crazy, and until it started happening to me. And like while I was going through the classes one by one, like as they're teaching us about business plans, you know, I just wrote a real business plan. You know, as they're teaching us about you know, business filings, I you know, I just went and did the actual business filings myself. And actually, like, this whole organization literally is the American dream. I even borrowed the $50 filing fee, or the $50 for the filing fee originally, because I didn't have it in my pocket at the time. And yeah, so but yeah, so yeah, like I said, I thought the universe, those people that said the universe told me to do something were batshit crazy, until it just started happening to me. And it finally got to the point where like this just started like becoming something, and it was like, well, let's run our first trip. You know, one of the problems that you run into with a nonprofit organization with funders is people want to know how many veterans you've served, and when you're starting a nonprofit from scratch, you haven't helped any. So yeah, so we did a caving trip, and we brought a veteran out from Red Rocks. We had one person sign up for the trip. And yeah, and then so we said, all right, let's do another one, and let's do another one. And yeah, that was July 31st of 2022 we launched. So we just went over the 2-year mark. We're a little over the 2-year mark. And last year we ran 156 veterans through the program, and we ran 16 programs. And this year already, we've already run over 30. Well, we're just about to program number 30, and we've already ran almost 300 veterans through the program. But what we're doing is we're just trying to use adventure as a catalyst to reach veterans. You know, just kind of find like whatever your jam is. I just found out personally that, you know, hell, our mind is our own worst enemy. And so many of us, you know, self-isolate. We don't want to go outside. We start getting into our phone and, you know, just believing all the BS that social media and everything is pumping down us. And, you know, just by getting outside, there's so many amazing things that happens just by getting outside. You know, it releases all kinds of wonderful endorphins and oxytocin in your brain that actually like brings happiness and makes happiness. I learned from, you know, my personal depression that depression is contagious, and the ones that suffer most from it is our closest family members around us, our kids, our spouses, our loved ones. And, you know, there's so few resources out there for them. So, you know, that's one of the things that we're doing as an organization is, you know, we're offering all these trips for free. We do anything from hiking, skydiving, snowmobiling. We went snorkeling in the Denver Aquarium back in February. We're about to go shark diving in November. You know, and it's all about finding your jam, you know, and making memories with your family. You know, they found so many, there's surveys, there's studies that say, you know, material possessions don't bring us happiness. It's memories. It's you know, that's what really brings happiness. And so that's what we're trying to do as an organization is get people out there. And, you know, if you've never had the opportunity to go skydiving before, if you've never had the opportunity to go snowmobiling before, you know, I grew up poor. I never had the chance to do a lot of that stuff. But, you know, like, hey, here's your opportunity, and you can bring your family too. You know, we're teaching people how to recreate properly and safely in the wilderness. And then, you know, we're also getting them around other veterans that are going through a lot of the same stuff that, you know, we all go through. And then we're getting people to the proper resources in the community. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the VA. I actually currently have a veteran advocate claim in right now, just trying to get my own personal care, with them. And, you know, it's a fight, but there's so many rad resources in the community that, if you don't know about, then you can't participate in. And so, yeah, that's just, yeah, sorry to just ramble and go on for.
No, it's good. It's good. It helps us get to know you. And that is actually, kind of the forefront of what we do is we build relationships. And that's how we get to grow with people. So you're Deke Letson, you're an Army veteran, and you've dealt with some stuff. You went to college, and you put together an organization called Veterans Exploration
Therapy. Yes, sir.
And you're here tonight on our show. And I don't want to minimize any of the things that you said, but there's some really important things we got to talk about. Are you a Colorado Buffalo fan or a Colorado Rams fan?
Oh, man. All right. So I'm a Buffs fan. Yeah, I grew up. My uncle used to have season tickets, and so I used to grow up going to the games or whatever. So, I'm a Buffs fan, but I don't have that real hard grudge like a lot of Buffs Rams fans have. Are you? What are you?
Well, we are the raging, fighting, destroyers of the earth, Minnesota Gophers out here. So that's I root for them because I'm here. We're going to have a problem if you're a CSU fan because I'm a poke, and so that's we would have to put some gloves on and wrestle a little bit if I knew you're a CSU fan. So that's the way that works. So
glad I answered that one right at least.
Yeah, you did. You answered it right. No. What are you said? Did you do police services in Colorado?
I ran the security program for Federal Protective Service. So I was one of 8 people that ran the security program. So yeah.
Going to drop a name. Is the name Matt Packard familiar to you?
No, it's not.
Fair enough. All right, that's good. He's the highway patrol commander for Colorado and is in the network, and so just is actually trying to get into the international commander position here in the United States. So we wish him luck, and he is from your backyard right there in Colorado, and doing good work as it. But we got to fight him every once in a while because he is a CSU fan because he has to be, and his wife is a huge University of Wyoming alumni, but it is what it is.
He probably catches enough crap from her, so
probably. Nah, probably doesn't. No, it probably doesn't. Anyway, so we want to hear more, Deke. We want to hear more. I love the passion. I love the fact. I mean, here's the deal. There's so many times we run into people that had their down, they're out. They didn't realize where they fit, and then they just needed to find the little breadcrumbs that someone gave them, and you thought they were all nuts and crazy, and now look where we're at today. We're in a position where you're changing lives, and I just am inspired by people who take those paths, and we'll talk more about that here in a minute. Jonathan, you got something for us?
Yeah, go back to that. I don't know why this stuck out to me. Maybe it's because I was one of those people that did dumb things like fall downstairs and get lockers tipped over on me when I was in the military. But it kind of made me think of a song that we have in our catalog, and this particular one is from John Hensley, and it's called "You Better Be Tough."
You better be tough.
Heck yeah.
Here we go.
Well, I grew up down in a small town. Folks know everyone for miles around. Was the kind of kid who couldn't back down when that bullet was picking on me. Next thing I know, I was looking up at the sky, watching the clouds roll by with a shiner on my eye. Can't forget what my daddy said when I got home that night. When he sat me on his knees, he said, if you're gonna be dumb, son, you better be tough. Well, your head and your life's gonna get real rough. God's giving out brains, you must not have got too much. You wouldn't be doing such foolish things stop thinking before you act, son. Turn your hot head into a cool one. You're gonna learn your lessons well enough. You're gonna be dumb, son, you better be tough. So I got married and I was 22 to a beautiful lady and I had no clue. She asked me how she looked, what I was supposed to do was come up with a little white lie. She came at me with a frying pan, cussing and yelling something I didn't understand. Woke up in a room getting me a CAT scan, with a doctor preached to me, say, if you're gonna be dumb, son, you better be tough. The way you're headed, your life's gonna get real rough. God was giving out brains, you must not have got too much. Wouldn't be doing such foolish things. Better stop thinking before you act, son. Turn that hot head into a cool one. Gonna learn your lessons well enough. You're gonna be dumb, son, you better be tough. My way home, I hit my favorite bar. Couple of drinks, I might have gone a little too far. Don't know how I didn't see that police car with those blue lights following me. I learned a lesson on the roadside. Two flat tires on my passenger side. Marty hates it when I drink and drive. He just kept on lecturing me. Say, if you're gonna be dumb, son, you better be tough. Way you're headed, your life's gonna get real rough. God was giving out brains, you must not have got too much. Wouldn't be doing such foolish things. Better stop thinking before you act, son. Turn your hot head into a cool one. Gonna learn your lessons well enough. If you're gonna be dumb, son, you better be tough.
That is Mr. John Hensley with Better Be Tough. Hey, here's the piece to this. How many times or how long in life did adults tell us how to do things right and we just could never figure it out? Until you're at an age where the adults were, where they were telling us this, and now we're like, oh yeah, remember when the old man used to tell us how? Yep. What do you got, Miss Kimmer?
Well, I do have something. Deadly hooks. Remembering me back when I was strong in the military, where apparently I did not belong. I did enlist. I mean, what could go wrong? For my country, freedom was my song. When I went in, we did everything with the men. The command instructed us that they were not our friend, that we shouldn't by no means trust them, that they only wanted to get in our pants. Well, alrighty then. I did what I was told to do by my command. A month later, I realized that was part of their plan, because that's when the rapes began. Yes, my drill sergeant became my real-life boogeyman. I believed his threats, including that I would die if I ever told anyone, or even if I cried. Each time, this was amplified. And in this man's army, he was sure to have an alibi. I really wanted to be part of something bigger than me. I wanted to be of that, be all you can be. That rang so true for me, you see. Why couldn't he just let me be? None of us girls talked about it. After and decades later, it was still hard to admit. I grew physically and mentally weary because I was still his Brit. Since then, my backbone finally grew some grit. But where to turn? Because I was going insane. I could no longer live with this man's pain. I needed help. I still felt as though I was to blame. I had allowed him for too long to control my reign. So at the VA, I told what took place. As the tears ran down my face, still feeling like such a disgrace. No longer would I allow him to erase that what he did, he committed a crime. But it was me that was punished for a lifetime. At times, I still need a lifeline because he embedded in me his crime. I've come a long way. I even write books. I am still scared that for me he looks. If you're out there, no longer can you snook. Warning, if you try, in your throat there will be deadly hooks. I'm not into revenge.
If military sexual trauma is one of your vices that you have dealt with and have experienced, and that is a piece that is holding you back from living the life that you want to live, please reach out. We've got the resources, we've got the tools, we've got Miss Winter and other veteran advocates that can help in that space. And it is a crime, and it should be dealt with the way it should be dealt with. And so, thank you for your story and your message, Miss Winter. Also, if you need, if you want to hear more amazing stories and experiences that aren't just about military sexual trauma, but other Miss Winter's other spaces and faces and experiences of life, check out her catalog of writings. She's done an amazing job, and we love having her be part of the WP3 team.
Thank you.
Deke, you gotta have fun all the time. That's what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, just hey, make your life the way that you want it. You know, I'm actually out in Washington State right now. Just well, I barely ever get a vacation or anything like that, but because I've got 3 kids and all that. But yeah, I'm about to go kayaking in bioluminescent water and make some more of those memories myself. So, yeah.
How do we get that information? How do people find you?
Find us at our website, www.vetxtherapy, vet, the letter X, therapy.org. Our social media and Instagram, Facebook. I really neglect our LinkedIn because I'm horrible at that. But our handles are Vet X Therapy or Veterans Exploration Therapy. Just search us. If you're ever in the Denver area, we're a small nonprofit as of right now, just operating up and down the Front Range and trying to move our way west in Denver, but in Colorado, I should say. But if you're ever out there, please look us up. Everything is free to to veterans and their families, and we very loosely word families too, because we all learn that you don't have to be blood to be family. So if there's somebody in your life that really supports you and wants to come along rock climbing or whatever we're doing, bring them, sign them up with you.
Love it. Tell me the story that connects you to your mission. What is the like? Yep, we did it. We're there. We got this.
I'm not entirely sure I get the question.
Okay, fair enough.
You know,
So,
like, or go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. No, I mean, first of all, this is your show. This ain't our show tonight. So Deke gets to do it how he wants to do it, and you've given us just an amount of information already. But so you didn't originally want to build a business. You didn't want to do this piece. You thought all these people in your life were out of their minds for even thinking or counting on you to do this thing. But now you've taken this step. You've created the vet. And when was the moment you're like, yes, we know we're doing what we're supposed to be doing?
Every time I run into somebody just randomly that's been on one of our programs, and like there's this one of our participants, George, this guy's awesome. He came to one of our indoor rock climbing nights, and he had never been rock climbing. He brought his family, and he's an employee at the VA. And so a couple months later, I'm sitting at the VA, just, doing whatever. Somebody walks by me and stops in their tracks, and they look at me and say, "Deke, what's going on?" And he was like, "Man, ever since I went on your indoor rock climbing trip, I went out and I got a membership, and I've been going 4 or 5 times a week." It's like that very moment. It's like, yes, it's working. Like there's so many times now that I'm going out, and somebody will come on we seem to do a lot of rock climbing, so it seems like rock climbing is always the one that comes up to me. But like we did paddleboarding the other day, and there was another participant that was afraid of the water, and that's like one of the things that we're trying to do as an organization is get people to push past their fears. Don't ever let a fear stop you from doing something amazing. It's us as people that hold ourselves back from going out and doing something because like we say I can't, or we say no, or something like that. And so like every time I hear a participant come up to me and say, like, your event was the catalyst, and I learned that I freaking love this. It's like, yes, absolutely, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Frank the Myth's going to come and see you. He's a guy that we had on our show a couple of weeks ago. Gosh, it must be a month now, but he's going to come check you out. We got people in our network. We got people and friends in our Colorado, and it's crazy how long we do this. A frustrating conversation when we were building the People's Patriot Project was a marketer came to us and said, "Why would you get in a saturated field?" I'm like, well, have you heard how many people are committing suicide? Have you heard how many people have social emotional disorders? Have you heard how many people have dealt with sexual military trauma? Have you heard how many homeless veterans we have? You're telling me it's a saturated field? Now, I'll get on my pedestal and I'll say we have 46,000 organizations across the country saying they're helping veterans and first responders. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, like you listed a ton of them right there, but like I was that veteran that they just wanted to, or that they just put on a pill and just said, "Here, take this." And then the next thing you're taking, you're a 30-year-old person and you're taking 30 pills a day, 30. I was that veteran with a bag of medication, and all it does is cover up the it doesn't treat the root cause of the problem. It just numbs you out to it or whatever. And you're so spot on with everything that you just said right there. There's so many different things out there, and there needs to be many organizations out there.
Even with that said, this cocktail issue with the VA is a huge issue in itself, and it's not just the VA. I mean, we're throwing pills at everything, and I do want to address the VA issue. There are VAs that are doing and getting it done. There are VAs that have struggles. There's VAs that have pieces that work. And again, at some point, it would be nice, because I've not met the person. Granted, we got advocates and we've got people that work with the processes, but there needs to be a roadmap that people don't. I mean, back to the 46,000 organizations. we've muddied the waters for veterans to find the help that they need to begin with. And that is an amazing, beautiful gift for us, is that the show fell in our lap through our hard work of creating it. And it's given us the opportunity to find these organizations like yours. Now, granted, we're on episode 218 now, and it is, 4 years not soon enough, but you know what? We get to move forward. And, if someone from Colorado reaches out to us, we can say, hey, I got Deke, man. Let's call him up. And that is another piece that we don't do a referral. We don't do hey, here's an email, here's an address, here's a phone number. We call up the organization and say, hey, I got Bill on the line here. This is what he's dealing with. What can we do to help him out? And that is what has been an absolute amazing gift with and again, this is your show tonight, so we want to make sure we're highlighting what your organization is doing and how we're going to help more. Tomorrow at 4:30, we'll come back to a live stream again, and we'll talk about the People's Patriot Project, but I don't want to monopolize that time when Deke has got things that he needs to say. So...
Hey, it doesn't have to be all about me, though. And that's actually kind of what it's all about. Like the last thing that we're doing, just because the outdoors is my thing doesn't necessarily mean it's yours. It's like, find your jam. You don't have to necessarily go into a shrink's office and, do the traditional therapy or anything like that. There's music therapy out there. There's so many different things out there. Find what makes you tick. Find what, it doesn't have to be me whatsoever. It doesn't have to be the outdoors. It's all about you. It's all about taking care of yourself. It's all about, just making sure that you're getting the resources that you need, because there's so many of us that try to help so many other people, all while we're killing ourselves personally inside. And I just, sometimes you got to take a second for yourself, before you can take care of everybody else.
Absolutely. Jonathan, you guys got another one lined up?
Yeah. A funny little deal with this song is tonight when I was going through the list trying to figure out what 3 songs we would play, I came across this song and I said, I really like this song and we haven't heard it in a while. But then, as always I try not to pick the songs out in advance, to leave it open for interpretation of the direction of the show. But I feel like it's as good a time as any. Then Andrea messaged at some point during the show about this song as well and how she wanted to hear it. And so now we all going to get to hear it. And I remember having this conversation with him, and I can't remember what exactly the pronunciation of this would be, but I'm going to go with McKeel Buck. And the song is Irish Road.
Around resurrection, laying rest to wayward souls. We never saw our future, only memories to hold of a place much rich and greener. I left my West Virginia home. I gambled all I had away to walk down the Irish road. Dry and barren, but they say Jesus walked these streets. Keep a Bible right beside my head each night when I'm asleep. Well, I used to not believe it, but Mama prayed to save my soul. 'Cause Lucifer's alive and well, he lives down the Irish road. St. Bridget, come and save me before the devil takes control. Once what was a heart of gold is now as black as coal. And I still see all the faces I laid beneath set fire to Armageddon. I rained the brass down in the sand, and he cried out for Janie as he reached and took my hand. But now the piper man's blowing while the angels take him home. St. Michael lost another son down the Irish road. I pray St. Bridget come and save me before the devil takes control. Once what was a heart of gold is now as black as coal. And I swear I see the faces I laid beneath the cobblestones. Each night they come and haunt me from down the Irish road. Every night they come and haunt me from down the Irish road.
That is Michael Buck.
So this little bit of this song was written in reference to Route Irish, which is the little 7.5 mile stretch of road from the Baghdad Airport road. It was from the Green Zone to Baghdad Airport, and that's what that song was actually written about. And knowing the history behind it, it was one of the most dangerous roads to travel. Very notorious for soldiers in Iraq with IEDs and ambush and everything else. So, very touching song. Yeah, honestly, the more I listen to it, it's almost haunting on another level. But great song, Michael Buck.
I used to drive that street every day in 2008.
Yeah. I didn't have to drive it every day, thank goodness, but I have been down it.
Yeah.
What is the next big adventure for Deke?
For Deke personally or Veterans Exploration Therapy?
Let's do both.
Man, personally, hell, I got 3 kids, man. I just freaking, my daughter's 16 years old. Cheerleading starts at 5 a.m. in the morning for some reason. So I'm just trying to take it day to day until I can, until I'm, oh gosh, what's it called when your parents are empty nester, until I'm an empty nester. So I got about 6 years left for that. But we're just going to keep hitting it hard with the organization in the time being, like I said, this year we're already on pace. We're going to run over 40 programs and serve over 400 veterans. And we're just, when we have enough money to open up another one in another location to serve other veterans, that's what we're going to do. And then when we have enough money to do it again, we're going to do it again. And we're just going to try to reach as many veterans as we can. And keep trying to go for bigger and better things too. It's one thing to go hiking, but, like giving people the opportunity to, like we went snorkeling in the Denver Aquarium. Colorado's landlocked. We don't have we've got lake beaches, but they're not the same. But yeah, going snorkeling in the Denver Aquarium, it was just absolutely epic. And one of the participants brought his 11-year-old daughter on the trip, and they bring you backstage in the aquarium, and they take us in. They brought us in an elevator to bring us up to the exhibit. And like as soon as you get on the elevator, there were 2 mermaids, which I could personally care less about, but like that little 11-year-old girl, like it made her life right there. She was she was so stoked about it. And so that's just what we're going to keep doing, keep making these memories. Hopefully we can keep growing, and we have the financial backing to do it. That's one of the things I do in the back behind the scenes is I never knew what the rappers were talking about in the 90s about hustling and grinding every day until I started my own organization. And that's exactly what I do in the background every day. I freaking hustle and grind just to keep this thing afloat and keep it going and everything. And so, but yeah, it's such a blessing. I've never felt success like this in my life. I've never like, this is so much bigger than me. It's not about me. It has absolutely nothing to do about me. I just happen to be the person who came up with it, or just keeps going with it. I don't know. It's just all about finding your jam. It's all about taking care of yourself. It's all about not blowing, doing something stupid and committing suicide. I hate to relate it to a meme, but there was a meme that I saw a while back, and it said, I'd much rather listen to your story than listen to your eulogy. And it's like, that's the freaking truth right there. Like, let's go do something rad. So many of us cope with substance abuse, and I was that person too. But like, hey, just like last weekend, we went skydiving. It's like, hey, you feel like you need to you put a substance in your body to get high. Let's go jump out of this plane right here, and I'll show you how to get high without putting a substance in your body. And like, I promise you, that adrenaline, that rush, it is going to be. It's not that I've done heroin, but I mean, it's going to be better than heroin.
I love it.
Stuff.
Hands down, I tell people that all the time, man. Jumping out of a perfectly good airplane is the dumbest thing I've ever done. It's also the most the biggest adrenaline rush I've ever had.
Right. And, actually, if you look at it statistically wise, it's actually statistically safer to do than driving down the street. You're more likely to get into a car accident than a skydiving accident.
It really don't feel like that.
It doesn't whatsoever. But man, I'll tell you what, like, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not, it was so funny. Last year, somebody came up to me and they're like, "Oh, let me know when you're going skydiving." And in the back of my head, I'm like, "Man, we ain't going skydiving probably never going skydiving." The insurance agencies, they don't take the fun out of everything, but they sure do put a price tag on it. But yeah, I actually met my treasurer for our board of directors, and she's huge into skydiving. She's one of the most awesome people I've ever met in my life, Shay. And she helped build the skydive company when it was forming. And so she got us an awesome deal on it. We went last year for the first time. We just went last weekend for the second time. And, we're trying to figure out how we're going to do this bigger and better next year, because it sucks having to tell veterans like, "Hey, sorry, the trip's full." Like, we can literally only afford to bring so many. So next year we're working on bringing more out. But that's just what it's all about right there. Pushing past your fears, pushing past, like, admitting that you have a problem is freaking scary. It's horrible. Like, going to therapy, it's incredibly scary. It feels like jumping out of a plane. So we want to show you that you can do both safely. And so that's really what it's all about. Just, finding your jam. And yeah, when they opened that door to that plane last weekend, you don't realize, it's just kind of surreal. They opened that door up. I'm sure there's tons of people that have done it before or whatever. But yeah, it gets real when you hear that wind freaking whipping in that plane and everything like that. And then you go to that side of that door, and there's only one thing to do. But yeah, absolutely amazing.
For sure.
That's not Shea Weston, is it, by chance?
No.
Okay.
No, Mike with Skydive Orange Skies in Fort Morgan, Colorado.
Okay. Not a big deal. How many concerts have you been to Red Rock out there?
Oh gosh. A handful. I actually used to work at the Fillmore Auditorium in Denver. So yeah, so I've been to thousands of concerts at the Fillmore Auditorium, but not as many at Red Rocks. And man, it's such a thing. It's so expensive to go to a show now too. So yeah, I don't go to nearly as many as I'd like to, but I'd like to change.
I was going to say, I mean, if you've not had the chance, and I'm not talking to you right now, D, because I know you've been there. I know if you live in Colorado, everyone has experienced at least one event at Red Rock. If you've never experienced a concert, and you got to go check out Red Rock. It is one of the most amazing outdoor amphitheater event centers in all of America. It is beautiful. The sound is crazy because it sits in there and it echoes in this canyon off this natural red rock, literally red rock amphitheater. It is absolutely beautiful. But we've had a couple of planted seeds to work in that space. Maybe someday we'll keep planting seeds. That's what we're going to keep doing.
Yeah, definitely go see a concert. Go see your favorite artist at Red Rocks. Like, buy plane tickets. You're not kidding. If it's not one of the best in the country, it's one of the best in the world.
I would agree with that. Granted, I've only been in this country, so I'm as far as concerts are concerned. So I can't.
That's what I'm talking about.
Claim anywhere else in the world as a concert goer. We have ran the course of the evening, and we've gotten to know Mr. Letson very well, and veteran exploration therapy. And if you have a need, please again reach out to us. Reach out to Deke. His contact information has been put out here for the show. We're going to continue to build this relationship and continue to find ways to make sure that we are creating that tackle box that can go catch more and more variety of people that just need to hear a conversation sometimes. Just need to sit and maybe climbing rocks is what they need to do. Maybe doing a dive in the local pond, or actually, what was it? The Colorado
Aquarium.
Aquarium. I can't even imagine. We got the Mall of America. That would be crazy to do that. But I know that they've done that there. So I guess. Yeah. So
if you live in Georgia, you can go whale shark diving in the Georgia Aquarium.
That aquarium is ridiculous. That thing is nuts. I have been in that aquarium. That place is phenomenal. The Atlanta one has the largest, the whale shark has the largest aquarium in the country, and that's why they got like 4 of them in there. Anyway, that's this is our space and time where we get to talk. Now, I know the name of our show. The name of our show is going to be What's Your Jam? Because that is something that rolled off Mr. Letson's mouth a dozen times. So that will fit, and that fits algorithms very well because you heard it, you'll see it, and it'll be put out there again. And so, but this is the time where we come together and we talk about what is your takeaway? What did you get from this? Is this an opportunity of growth? Is this an opportunity of call to action? What did you get out of this space? Not everyone gets the same thing. Not everyone heard the same thing. And at the same conversation in any given day, moment, and opportunity, we not all feeling the same thing. So we all have a different flavor of jam, or we all have a different opportunity that is going to grab us. And that is what. Jonathan, what do you got, brother?
Kind of early on tonight, what I was taking away from this show jumped out at me, and it's really simple. We've heard it all. We've probably all heard it before, but if we don't have some examples of that on the show tonight, but turn your mess into your message is kind of jumped out at me really early, and I think no matter what you've been through, if you can get through it, there's a positive on the other side that you can help people with, and that people will be drawn into, like, it might have been pre-show, but Deke said something to the effect of, I found if I just be 100% truthful about everything I've been through, that no matter how it seems in my head, somebody is going to say, hey, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Somebody's been through what you're going through. And if you can make it through and turn your mess into your message, you can reach other people and help to be the light, maybe the for in a dark tunnel that brings them through the other side.
Miss Kimmer.
Yeah. I was trying to write a new one.
Just now?
Yeah. As Deke said, find your own jam. Let me think. Wait, I think I can. I bet there's others like me. We all needed time to break free from those things in our past that linger on forever last. In our network, we might find others who can help and won't leave you behind. Who knows, you might have some fun. Life is not over. It's not yet done. So what's your favorite flavor? Does it matter anyway? Because think of it, you are now braver.
I like it. Let's get that sent over to Deke so he knows what his jam is.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
Thanks.
Deke, did you get anything out of this evening?
Oh man, I get all kinds of stuff out of this evening. A lot of it is, some of it is like getting over fears and like personal strength, like for me and everything. Like just coming on a show like this, I don't know. Hell, I don't even like to listen to myself most of the time. But yeah, no. So a lot of it more may have been internal for me tonight. Just coming on this show and it's not easy going out there and saying, I effed up. I did a whole lot of things wrong. I did a lot of things not right to my family. Pushing everybody away and everything like that. But just kind of like. What Jonathan was saying earlier about the pre-show or whatever. It's like, hey, sometimes you just gotta suck it up and do it, because I ain't the only one going through this. I think that there's a whole lot of veterans out there that that's just kind of it. Like if we can reach just one, if just one of them says, all right, cool, I'm ready, then rad, let's do this. Freaking let's heal, brother. Let's heal, sister.
I love it. If you get a chance, if you have time, hang for our post show. We'll have a little collab opportunity just so when we're running our final closeout, just if you have time. If you got to get going, we understand.
Absolutely. Heck yeah.
Miss Eichmann.
Yes, thank you. I just want to say, Deke, your energy came through the conversation on Messenger. It's so awesome in real life that was the energy I felt when I first messaged you, and you are real life energy. I absolutely love it, and it's very positive energy. And I know it probably wasn't always, but I think you've come a long way, and that's all I felt was positive energy and message and true to form, wanting to serve others and pay back, whatever you want to call it. You're out there, paint it forward, paint it backward, whatever it is. And it's amazing. It's amazing what you do. And as I'm listening, I'm like, wow, that's really simple. You just take other people out to do things you really think you'd love to do. I mean, there shouldn't be anything difficult except then planning it and putting it together and paying for it. So there's all those pieces. So thank you so much. It was awesome hearing all about how this came together and the history of, where the idea came from, because I'm looking through a teacher's eyes as well. And man, sometimes, kids just can't get it right either. And you have a good guidance and you find your way eventually, or that realization. And I think you're in the place you're supposed to be right now, and it's perfect. And then Jonathan said something about going through the mess to get the message. And we're doing wordplay. And last week I wrote down, you can't have a testimony without a test. And so, I mean, shoot, in church this morning, I think there's something all about getting through the struggle and coming out better. And that's, Peterson says it all the time. So thank you so much for being on here. The What's Your Jam? And I wrote down, because I'm always texting these guys, like, give me a title, give me a title. I just was going to title it, This Is So Much Bigger Than Me, because we say it all the time. Come be part of something bigger than you, bigger than all of us. It's not the People's Patriot Project. It's not just Veterans Exploration Therapy. It's not just the music people we meet, but it's when you put it all together. That's when the biggest differences are made and the most people are found. And so, gosh dang it, thank you for being here. And thanks for all our contributors along the sideline. There is Frank. Frank, he's a writer as well, so he doesn't mince words. He puts them together nicely. Thank you. Of Vital Interest is Frank's book, and I believe he's working on the next one. So thank you, everyone out there. Next week, we do have two. I just want to mention really quick. We have a returning musician who will now be our guest, Joel Felici, and he's got a message about, no matter what the situation, we should still treat everybody with kindness and love. And then Jack Blaze will bring some music next weekend. So it will be another fun one. Deke, we need to stay in touch. We would like to share your adventures as well. Anytime I don't know how you get the word out there, if you want to tag me in Facebook or whatever, however the best way is. And then we'll we have a lot of people down there around Colorado area, Boulder, Colorado Springs, bunch of people down in that area. So, keep us up on what you're doing, because it's very exciting.
Thank you so much. I absolutely will. I'll have my social media team make sure that we tag you and all that. And Frank, I can't comment on the chat. I see you. I just haven't signed into YouTube and it won't let me. But thanks so much for all your comments and everything. And please come out and see us and anybody else in the Colorado area. If you're visiting, if you live there, if you can support us in any way. I hate to ask for money for everybody, but if you can support financially or know somebody who can support, it would be amazing.
Is the best way to do that on your website?
That's correct. Yeah. vetxtherapy.org and just click the donate button.
I don't like to ask either, but sometimes I put the page right to the donation, or I've seen nonprofits who that is their front page. We run on donations, and you have to drop the pride sometimes. And we're not begging. We're just trying to help people with as much as we can. So yeah,
that's it. And there's a lot of people out there that want to help veterans too, and have the means necessary of doing it too. So so if you're one of those people, please reach out. Please take care of the People's Patriot Project, because as you all know, nothing's free in life.
Nor easy.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're a blessing. Thank you, Deke. It was awesome having you. I think my takeaway comes from a different place right now. My takeaway is coming from a place with the news that we hear in this afternoon and the pieces that are there, and just wondering why we have gotten to be in such an ugly place where we can't have opinions and thoughts and ideas that are our own and fresh and unique, and that someone thinks that they need to take those thoughts and ideas away from us. Uh, it's not. I don't know. It's not right. It's simple. Um, if one thing that we pride ourselves with Patriot Pride is that we get to come here on a weekly. We know why we get to do this. We get to do this because the men and women who've sacrificed so many things to allow us the opportunity to do this. It sometimes is tough not to talk about the political world. Um, I'll be honest, I don't want to talk about the political world. The political world's an ugly place. It's not a place that I need to be honest with you. We got to figure out an answer somewhere along the line, and figure out what's best for all. And it's not working right now. Again, we're not going to fix or unwrap that tonight. But you know what? I do think that despite opinion, despite perspective, despite um, your ideology, I do think we can come together. And this is a foreshadow for next week's show, actually. Not it just kind of hit me in the face. Based on some of the stuff that's happening overseas in the Middle East right now, because Mr. Felici is someone that is from Israel. And it might look like a political conversation, but we also have other members of first responders that have come on who are over working as police services over in Israel and over in the places that they call, Palestine ran. There's terrible things happening in our world. There's terrible things happening in our space. And when we can boldly stand up and confront those things face to face as a united front, as a group of people with a brain that knows right from wrong, we'll make the world a better place. We will. We started a campaign last show. It's part of our WAVE program. Our WAVE program is about being a drop. All of us are but a drop, but together we create an ocean. Put that in your perspective as where we are reaching out in kindness and receiving with grace. How crazy is that thought? Receive with grace. Now, you know what? I'm not going to take a punch to the face with grace. I'm not. There's a truth. But at the end of the day, you know what? Behaviors are communication. What's behind the scenes? What's behind the eyes? There's a reason. And I think if we figure out the reason, we can figure out the solutions. I am going to continue our campaign. It hasn't developed the way that we wanted to, but we are going to continue to do our 6-packs. Everyone has a mobile device in their possession. I by no means think we're going to save the entire world because we start texting our buddies and our friends and all those people in the world saying, hey, I was just thinking about you. It's not plausible. But I do know that there may be one conversation you start tonight doing that might be the difference for someone else's life. We're built in the nature to be in relationships. There are people out there that maybe haven't thought about you for a minute. Maybe they haven't thought about you for years. But if you take the moment now to reach out to them and say, hey, I was just thinking about you, that might be life-changing for them. What I do know is doing nothing isn't going to do anything. We've already seen enough of that. So we appreciate everyone that's been here tonight. Thank you, WP3 team, for being here. Thank you, Deke and your crew, for your amazing mission that you have. Thank you for the people that support and follow us. Remember, we got WP3 Radio out there. You get on there, hear it, listen to it. It's all veteran and first responder musicians. If you can, like and subscribe, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will get in the episode to you, Deke, so you can put that out in your space. Thanks, everyone, for being here. And you know what? I'd like to know that you're here tomorrow, too. And that's why we do what we do. We appreciate everyone that's been here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 4:30 at the WP3 Debrief. And if not, we'll see you next Sunday on We Got Your 6 at 6. Thanks for everything. Patriot Pride.